rebuild. Rebuild. Let's start, clean start at Perek Shishi of Devorah. Going through the spheros, so we learned about Chachma Bina Das, or Keser Chachma Bina, Chesed, and we're up to Devorah in the term of Devorah. We're up to Devorah.
Amen.
Very good, because all the spheros are kind of out there, it's esoteric, but how do you actually incorporate them in your life? That's the term of Devorah. So, Yargil ha'adam atzmai b'midos ha'gvura. What is the appropriateness of Devorah? Devorah is, let's just try to define the word first. What does Devorah mean?
Strength.
Can I ask this question? It's okay, but we talk about a lot of things. Why is he picking up on this one to start with the Lemaisa?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
He's going to tell us now how to practically put this into place.
Right, the whole thing. He's going to build up.
Oh.
But what we're going to end up with is the correct, right way to live with your Devorah. So, Devorah usually means what?
Strength.
Strength. Okay. So Shvach. I think it's Shvach, Devorah. It happens to be that a Gibor has strength. Happens to be, but I don't know if that's the definition of a person who's a Gibor.
Yeshu Gibor Kodesh Yetzer.
Okay, very nice.
So person has control. So a person who has control.
So you're saying okay. So how to use Devorah? But on a Kabbalistic terms, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes. So what we've been learning all the time is that just to give this a little introduction, the Chesed is hispashtus. Chesed is when something in sort of an infinite reproductive way keeps on going and going and going and going. That's Chesed. Hence, the midas ha-chesed is if I'm a kind person, but the sphere of Chesed doesn't refer to being kind. Kind, just like strength, strong. Kind is just one example or one manifestation of Chesed. The force in the Bria that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put, called Chesed, is the force of exponential growth. Like something just keeps on growing and growing and growing. It could be that cancer is Chesed. Chesed is not necessarily a good thing, right? I heard once, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I heard once that like everybody has this problem. If this is true, it's a good bushel. If it's not true, it's a good bushel anyways. But that everybody is built with a certain amount of cancer cells in their body, and that's what makes the body function. Like somehow the problem is when it starts to grow out of control. That's what the problem is. So that's what the word cancer means, growing out of control. That's what the word actually means. It doesn't define the illness at all. So something grows out of control, obviously, a person's brain will grow out of control. Probably also a bad thing. If your heart will grow out of control, it's also a bad thing. Everything has a limit. If the water will come across on the beach and keep on going, so you have something which went from a good thing to being a bad thing. The fact the water is coming in is a good thing. The fact that it doesn't stop, that would be a problem. So this is important to understand. The Chesed is the force of the Bria which keeps on going and going and going. And Gevurah is Tzimtzum. So Gevurah is the force of the Bria that says, Misha Omar lo Elamai die. Yomer Lotzar is saying die, as Rashi says. That there was a need for HaKadosh Baruch Hu when He created the world. It keeps on going. The world would have kept on going, meaning that a seed becomes a tree becomes a fruit becomes, the tree can become paper. Next thing you know, you have suits growing on trees. So that sounds good, it's all paper growing on your notebooks. Choose your derech. But when it keeps on going too much, so then the world becomes a crazy house. It's not something which is anybody can deal with. So there's a seder to the bria. So the seder, the simtzum, the limitations to the bria is called Devorah. So what's I think important to understand here is that let's just lose the amateur understanding that chesed means kindness and Devorah means something like the opposite of kindness. But chesed means hispashtus, and Devorah means the ability to contain that hispashtus. So the fact that the water stops at the beach is Devorah.
Boundaries?
So boundaries. So it's interesting. I often mention this because it's a good example. The Akedah was the bounding of what? So the Pashat Pshat is that it's of Yitzchak to the Mizbeach. Why is that like the main part of the story, that he tied him down on the Mizbeach? So the Ramchal says that's not what it means. That the Akedah means not the Ramchal, or David Valley, same as the Ramchal, Charusa the Ramchal. That the Akedah is the bonding of Avram and Yitzchak, because Avram Avinu was the midah of Chesed. His tent was open on all four sides. It was just chesed, a good thing, Avram Avinu. But if you would just go with Avram Avinu, you'd end up with, let's say, Yishmael, who was a continuation of that derech, and it's not always good. So there you get Para Adam. Para Adam, like Para is Lashon Pri, keeps on going and going and going. Knows no boundaries, isn't that true of Yishmael? Knows no boundaries. There's no self. There's no. That's para adam. So there's Avram Avinu was the furthest thing in the world from anything like that. But this is what happens when you have no boundaries. So Yitzchak was all about boundaries. Apparently, we don't know that much about Yitzchak to even give examples of this. But it was all about discipline and all about boundaries. Pachad Yitzchak. It was all. That's what it was. So what happened with Avram and Yitzchak, Reb David Valley, Charusa, the Ramchal says. What happened with Avram and Yitzchak is that Avram and Yitzchak had to bound together. I'm not sure which is the right one. They had to both come together.
Melt.
Yeah, homogenize together. And what happens is that Yitzchak, you know, Yitzchak, you need a little bit of chesed. You can't be so, yekish. And Avram Avinu, you need a little bit of boundary. So Avram and Yitzchak come together. You have Chesed where Rabbi David Valley says Ava and Yira. I'm saying over to the women, I don't have a blackboard here, but if you take Ava, Aleph Hey, Beis Hey, and you write underneath it Yira, so you have Ava and Yira going this way also. Right? You know what I mean? I want to show you this. You have a piece of paper? I don't have a pen anyway. Trust me on this. Nobody has paper, nobody has pen. Well, let's get down to this David Valley. He says, let's see if it works. I forgot already. Right. So here it says Aleph Hey Beis Hey. Right, and here's this Yud Resh Aleph Hey. But if you go backwards, you have Ava Yira. So Ava and Yira, this was the Akedah. This is Rabbi Valley explains the Akedah. You can take Ava and Yira as two separate components, and you can make it Yira going from the bottom up. You can make it Yira Ava. So it works in a box. Everyone get me? So what we're talking. So what happened was now we created a Yaakov, which was Tiferes. But in order for Tiferes Yisrael or Klal Yisrael to come from Avraham and Yitzchak, you have to have this idea of the bonding of Ava and Yira or Chesed and Gevurah. So Chesed and Gevurah, again, we have to get rid of the amateur notion that it means kindness and strength. It means hispashtus and boundaries to those hispashtus. That's the correct way to learn it. He brings here concept of Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Hatov, which I have to admit to you, since I'm a child, I did not like the concept. It didn't speak to me. Like, why does it have to be that there's a little voice inside of me telling me, do bad, do bad, do bad, eat treif, do it, steal it, like, and there's another voice that don't do that. Like what, like what's up, why can't it be, this is a kasha I have probably since I'm 3, like why can't it be there's just me, and would I work on myself, and do I want to do good things or do I want to do bad things? But Chazal are so adamant that there's a thing, the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Hatov, within the person. Like what is that? So I just want to say one thing about it first. That's something that the problem is in the translation, because it's always translated as evil inclination. Which word means inclination here?
Yetzer.
Yetzer. What does Yetzer mean?
Creation.
Where does it mean inclination? It doesn't mean inclination. It means creation. Yetzirah. There's Kadosh Baruch Hu made a Yetzirah of Toiv and he made a Yetzirah of Ra. It's as simple as that. It's not like little voices in me. It's that's my Yetzer Hara. If you're really sophisticated, that's a Misa son.
No.
Oh, you're really getting fancy. But it's all MS, but it's all needs a mature understanding, not just like we were told when we were kids, like that's your Yetzer Hara, not to get up in the morning. It's something deeper than that. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu created in the world Kochos HaTov and Kochos HaRa, Yetzirah of Tov, Yetzirah Ra. So unfortunately, the pasuk we change it, Yotzer or Uvore Choshech, Yotzer. How's it go? Yotzer Choshech, Oseh Shalom, Uvore Es Hakol, which the real pasuk is Oseh Shalom, Uvore Es Hara. So we don't want to start the morning that way, so we should change it to Uvore Es Hakol. But so it seems that Ra is Hakol. Seems that they can be synonymous somehow, Ra and Hakol. But Kadosh Baruch Hu, Ra is not. What's important to understand is Ra is not sort of the absence of Tov. If you don't do Tov, you do Ra. There's a Bria called Ra. There's a Bria called Tov. So this Bria, or this Yetzirah, even better, Yetzirah and Bria there's a difference between Yetzirah and Bria, but there's a Yetzer HaTov, there's a creation of Tov, which trickles down all the way to my neshama, and there's a Yetzer Hara, which also trickles into my neshama. These are the life force of a person. So, forget the voices.
It's opposites.
I'm saying it's
What's a
Christian, the devil made me do it. It's a Christian idea. That's not what it is. It's not what we're talking about.
It's after the Yetzer Hara, which is the bigger Kiddush. It's only because of the Tzimtzum that Hashem had to make such a thing.
It's for sure.
But then that's
Sure.
Look at-
you're saying the default state is Toiv.
So what's the default stage? So I just want to read to you
Is that true? The default state
this
is Toiv?
very famous Zohar, which you should look at yourself. At the beginning of Parshas Vayishlach, here's the way it works. We don't have to guess. In fact, there is no guessing. Like, it's okacha. There's no philosophy here. This is just the Zohar. So the Zohar in Parshas Vayishlach. Just first of all, fascinating. Rabbi Yehuda Pasach. There's always a psich in the Zohar at the beginning of the parsha. Always an introduction. What's the introduction? Tehillim, Perek Tzadik Aleph, Pasuk Yud Aleph. Ki malachav yitzav elach lishmarcha b'chol drachecha. Ki malachav, Hashem appointed angels. Malachav is a plural, so it means angels. Yitzav elach, he commanded, he assigned to you, lishmarcha, to guard you b'chol drachecha. So we have 2 guardian angels, which are with us all the time. That's what's protecting our children from playing in traffic, etc. Ki malachav yitzav elach lishmarcha b'chol drachecha. It's a chiddush worth internalizing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, angels have a lot of purposes, malachim have a lot of reasons that Hashem created them, and one of them is there's 2 assigned to every human being. Comes Rabbi Yehuda b'Pasach, who are they? Hai Kro Ukmei Chavraya, that the Chavraya, Kadisha of the Zohar, analyze the pasuk. They're not going to take this as some kind of poetry. Who are these 2 malachim? Which malachim is it that are guarding me? So says the Chavraya, Rabbi Yehuda quoting the Chavraya, it means the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Tov. Well, the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Tov. How does the Yetzer Tov is protecting me? Was the Yetzer Hara protecting me? So I have here I'm lucky to have the Maslik Mitvash. So I'll just read it to you in Hebrew to spare you the Aramaic. Rabbi Yehuda Posach ki malochav yitzav alach lishmarcha b'chol drachecha pasuk zeh kvar bi'aru hachaverim dehabashaita debarnashas el'almo. When a person is born, as soon as a person is born, miyad izdamin bahadei Yetzer Hara. You're born with the Yetzer Hara. That comes with the package. Born. As soon as you're born, Yetzer Hara. That's why he's crying. The makatrig leila barnash tadir, and it's on you from the minute that you're born. Makatreg, miskoitate. It's against you. It's a force which is against you at every moment from the time you're born. Majamar pasuk lepesach chatos roivetz. This is also, by the way, Gemara in Sanhedrin. Fesach chatos roivetz. Chatos in the pasuk there means the Yetzer Hara. A lot of places in Tanakh means Yetzer Hara chatos, not the korban chatos. But Pesach chatos roivetz, that means that my chatos roivetz. What does it mean? Da Yetzer Hara. It's the Yetzer Hara which is born with the person. David Hachanami Kari Chatos. You find David used the lashon of Chatos for Yetzer Hara. The Ksiva Chatasi Negdi Tamid. My Yetzer Hara is always there. I always got to keep it in check. Begin diyu avid leila barnash kol yom lamech tekami marei. And since it's the one that brings this koach, it brings a person every day to think about, maybe I should do a chet today. It's this bria of ra. Yetzer Hara dolo yisadi mi barnash miyoyim adis yalid. And this Yetzer Hara does not leave the person from the moment that you're born, barnash la'alman, and the minute you come into the world. So what's that for? You're saying big drushes here. Yetzer Hara. Let's stick to the focus here. That what's this for? You're born with the Yetzer Hara. It's not something you develop. It's not something you get corrupted by your friends. It's not something that because you were a certain type of a person. A person is born with this koach hara chatasi lefesa chatos roivetz. Says the Zohar Vayter, v'yetzer atoiv asi lebarnash miyom da'asa liz takah. The Yetzer Atov comes to a person from the moment that you can do tahara. Ve'masay asi barnash liz takah. And when does a person come to the point of tahara? Ki yu bar tlisin shnei bar mitzvah. So the Yetzer Hatov, what the real celebration of the Yetzer Hatov is, the real celebration of the Bar Mitzvah is that, not that you're chayiv in mitzvahs, but the deeper explanation of it is that today you get a Yetzer Hatov. Till now you only had a Yetzer Hara. And now you get a Yetzer Hatov. Kedenis David Barnash B'Tarvayu, and now you have two forces instead of one. Chad miyamina v'chad mishmalah. One on the right and one on the left. Well, what's on the right and the left? Chesed, Devorah. So it's all the same thing.
What's the Devorah the type?
No. It's a Hara. You're born with the small, the left ventricle, spiritual ventricle, and then you develop the right. Yetzer Toiv li yamina, Yetzer Ra l'smaila. Ve'ilon, this is the startling part. Ve'alin inon trei malachim mamash mimanu. These are the two malachim. Ki malachim yitzav alach l'shmarcha. So, like, a kid is born with the Yetzer Hara, malach one.
He's only got one malach.
One malach guarding him, and it's Yetzer Hara.
Because he gets him what he wants. Gets him what he wants.
Right, exactly. Wrap your mind around this. The one malach that's taking care of the child from the moment he's born till the end of his life, but one malach and one malach only working on one spark plug is the child from birth till bar mitzvah. And then when you reach 13, you finally get another partner in this thing. Malachav, you get two malachim, another malach, and that's the Yetzer Hatov.
You're always saying the Yetzer Hatov is the Devorah?
No. I'm saying Yetzer Hatov is chesed. You start off with Devorah. Well, you start off with Gevurah, and you have Chesed afterwards.
Gevurah is the Tzimtzum, not the expansion, not the.
Right. So you start off with the Tzimtzum, and you afterwards you get the expansion.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. It's very interesting that
Yetzer tries to get you out. No bound.
It's very interesting that in the Akeda that you were just referring to, the Ayo is a symbol of freedom, and yet there's boundaries.
The what?
The Ayo that they sacrificed, that Avram sacrificed, and it was stuck. It had boundaries.
Couldn't move.
Couldn't move.
So why isn't it called Yetzer Tzimtzum? And like, why? What's the Ra in it?
Why it's called Ra?
Right, and also you see.
I can think of a lot of names, but the question is, why do they pick Ra?
And also, before Bar Mitzvah, my kids can do very good things. Lishma, like it seems like even from the Yetzer Tov side of it, there seems to be a Tov there that's
maybe not
very visible.
Maybe not.
Maybe it's so that they can get
Maybe it's their
recognition.
imagination.
Yeah.
Or maybe so. I don't know. But it seems like.
It's also another observation. It's mashma that they're malachim, and they seem to be created, both of them, for our good. Not
For
that
sure.
they're- not that
Malach of
there's-
Yitzav, Malach
not that there's
Lishmarcha.
a bad voice that's in there trying to
No.
convince you
This
bad
is
things.
the whole
It's for
point.
our good.
This is the whole point. Lishmarcha b'chol drachecha. The purpose. So again, we're just let's absorb here. We just took the idea, which I think is a silly idea, personally. I always did, of this kind of like, this inner struggle. A person is a person, but Hashem gave you malachim. That Hashem gave you malachim. So go introduce yourself. This is my Yetzer Hatov. This is my Yetzer Hara. Here we are. We've come together, and pleasure to meet you. Right? You can give them names if you want. This is what I have. My Yetzer Hara, my Yetzer Hatov. These are my malachim, like your bodyguards, that are coming here. Lishmarcha b'chol drachecha. And why is it called Ra? I mean, why are you calling me Ra? But you know what? Let's expand our minds for a second. Maybe Ra doesn't mean bad. Who defined that? Just like we defined Yetzer means inclination, and it doesn't. It means Yetzirah. But there's a Yetzirah of Ra, there's a Yetzirah of Toiv, there's a Yetzirah of Chesed, there's a Yetzirah of Gvurah, there's a Yetzirah of Or, there's a Yetzirah of Choshech. There's a different Yetzirahs.
Why are they also like external?
Can't hear you.
Malachim are external. Why?
Who told you? You have to leave every one of your
Preconceived.
So there you go. Why can't they be eternal?
They're built into the business. No, but you're getting malach.
It's like a Mac, not like a like a Microsoft.
No, that means the malach.
So I right, you tell to the person.
It means the malach hatov is coming into the building. What does that mean?
My
It's
neshama,
not
in my
building.
neshama.
So you're getting extra neshama here.
Yeah, like on Shabbos. Like on Shabbos.
How is this malach, makbil, we can call it the Devorah, that's...
Well, what do they do?
Child. Child take as much as you
He
can.
didn't say a word about what they're for or what they do.
Right.
We have our pre-inclination because we've been hearing about Yetzer Hara since we walked in Yiddishkeit, whether you're 1 or 30 or whatever it was. Like, the Yetzer Hara is your Yetzer Hara. And mamish don't like it. Let me v'ahavta Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha v'chol yodecha. So there's 2 bases. Vayitzar Yud Tzadik Reish. Rashi says, why is it 2 Yuds over there? And Vayitzar is Adam, because he's born with the Yetzer Hara, Yetzer Tov. He's not born with the Yetzer Hatov, but he's born with the seed of the Yetzer Hatov, which will come out only at 13 years old. It could be what you're seeing, David, is the formation of the Yetzer Hatov. But we have to really come into this one. I just want to read you the Goyin that I came across. This is the Sefer the Vilna Gaonim right now. And in Brachas, on that Gemara in Brachas, Cholavavcha, famous Gemara, Rashi says, Shnei Yitzrecha. The Haftas Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha has 2 bases. It means b'shnei Yitzrecha, both of your hearts. So that's the answer.
Okay, to the passage before, but
Hearts.
Akol is Yetzer Hara only.
Okay. You see, the yeshivish thing to say is, I'm not knocking it, but you see, like most yeshivish things that we have memorized if you went to yeshiva, is that when somebody knew what he was talking about, told to a bunch of people who have no idea what they're talking about, say it over the wrong way. that's like without having the main havana in it. So b'chol avavcha, what we learn is, how do we always learn it? That ezo gibar kovish is Yetzer, that you have to figure out how to use the Yetzer Hara l'toiv also. That's what we usually learn, which is okay. I don't think it hits the deepest part of this. What does that mean anyway? What's an example? You have to figure out how to use your Yetzer Hara. Like, let's say, you love gambling, right? So buy a lot of raffle tickets for Hatzalah. Use your Yetzer Hara l'toiv. That's the usual shot. Now the Goin is follows. There's Medayik, and the Goin has the Goin. Pirush. Mashabara Kodesh Baruch HaYetzer Hara. This that Hashem created the Yetzer Hara, Einoi b'shul kibul schar levad. It's not to give you a challenge in life, so now you have schar. Ba'avur shechufu, I say. Why do you have a Yetzer Hara? So you can kill it. Like, why do I have a Yetzer Hara? So that I can discipline it. So that's why you have a Yetzer Hara, or that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, what? So the bria of the Yetzer Hara, meaning we'd be better off, maybe, you have amina, you would be better off without having a Yetzer Hara at all.
You don't have bechira.
Okay, so you wouldn't have bechira. But like, I could be a tzaddik
It
v'toiv
didn't work.
I could be like the Tanya's tzaddik v'toiv, if I don't have any Yetzer Hara at all, and I'm just doing good things, like I'm like a tzaddik, a malach, I'm just doing good things. So why do I have a Yetzer Hara? Because that's my challenge, my bechira chavshus. No, Ella, it's not the pshat. Ella, you see, but you see, you also fall into the yeshivish trap. That why do I have the Yetzer Hara? Because otherwise I don't have free choice. Meaning I have to have somebody telling me to do bad, otherwise I don't get any schar for doing good. So it's kind of like a Elodah Toyelis Gamkein, he says the Toyelis, the Yetzer Hara, Dim Loi Hayel Adam Yetzer Hara, it's much more fundamental than that. If a person would not have a Yetzer Hara, Loi Hayel Yachal Lichyos, he will not live. He couldn't live without a Yetzer Hara. Afilu Shah Achas, tells us part. Did you know that? You can't live without a Yetzer Hara. Afilu Shah Achas. Yeah, Yetzer HaToiv, because if you would only have Yetzer HaToiv, says the Goin, Ein Roitze Loi Lecho V'Loi Lishtois, you would have no appetite to eat or to drink. The world would not continue to say. It's sort of a gemara. So the pshat is that it's a life force. The Yetzer Hara is a life force. Let me call it, instead of calling it Yetzer Hara for a minute, let me call it the survival instinct within the person, which is the boundaries. So I'm willing to do chesed until the point that it's killing me, yeah? So I'm willing to go and do mitzvahs, but I have to eat. So I have to sleep. So those are the boundaries, which are saying, the boundaries in a sentence is, hey, I'm human, there's only so. Avraham Avinu was almost not human. So it was just chesed, it's pashtus of chesed, and ad kedei misa. Look what happens with the para adam. There's no value of life at all, not for himself and not for anybody else. There's just the cause, the ideal. I mean, I guess you have to admire it on some level, but it's no boundaries, a boundless ahava. Ahava mekalkelos sashura. So the need. It's a very simple thing, really. The need to live, to stay alive, survival, to be able to function, is life itself. So the Yetzer Hara is life itself. Why is it called Ra? Because it's not toiv. It's not that it's getting. Why does a child have to be born with the Yetzer Hara? Because a child, before you have to do mitzvahs, you have to survive. There has to be. You can't watch a kid 24/7. It has to have a natural. So a kid cries when he gets hungry. That's what I'm saying. The blah blah when he starts alive. That's Yetzer Hara. Feed me. I'm alive for 10 seconds. Why haven't you fed me yet?
The same thing as the nefesh behemoth? It doesn't change.
No.
No?
I don't want to put it all in one thing right now. But the Yetzer Hara is the need, the natural instinct of a person to live. Now, can that overtake every ideal that I have in my life, and all I care about is my next meal? So that's Yetzer Hara gone crazy. But that HaKadosh Baruch Hu built in to the system the need to live and to survive, that's beautiful. See, what is it, Mayor, you work with this all the time. What is it when a person no longer has any cheshek to make a living, to be married, to, psychologist, social worker.
Apathetic.
That kind of apathy, what is that? That's no Yetzer Hara. It's not that there's no Yetzer Hara. But basically I've lost my will to live. It's right. But that's suicidal. That's suicidal. Like a person who has no Yetzer Hara is suicidal. Kill me. Like, let me die. Doesn't make any difference. So you could create a whole cult around. I mean, and this is what I said. This is Avram Avinu gone to the bad side without a Maisa Akedah, without Yitzchak. You have Paradam. Nothing. Who you? It's like a wild Michigan, like doesn't just grow, like nothing, no boundaries at all.
Yetzer Tov to the extreme would also be suicidal.
Yeah, for sure.
So why isn't that? I mean, to both extremes is suicidal.
But you don't need it when you're first born.
So then, why is the Ra called the Ra? That's only referring to.
Why is it called Ra? Is the one question I'm not sure I know the answer to, unless Ra doesn't mean bad. But I'm just before we try to answer why it's called Ra, which is I guess the most important question here. The question is, what is it? So
Shepherd.
Let's do it again. Beyond being this a little voice inside of me which says, steal it and cheat on your taxes, like Yetzer Hara. What it is the part of the machine that HaKadosh Baruch Hu built. This part of this machine that HaKadosh Baruch Hu built with his Asher Yetzer is Adam b'chachma, Yetzer. Yetzer is Adam b'chachma. That he created a person with such chachma that he's got a built-in survival tactic. It's a built-in. Your computer doesn't have that, does it?
He's your buddy.
He's your shepherd.
He's your malach.
He's your shepherd.
Right.
He's your buddy. It's raves.
Yeah. This is your malach.
Also, animals have it, according to Gemara.
Yeah.
It's hard. They don't have Yetzer Tov, they have Yetzer Hara.
Where's this Gemara?
The chicken.
The chicken. Yeah. So the Gemara says that the Anshe Knesset Hagdola, what Yaakov is referring to, that the Anshe Knesset Hagdola want to be invatal the Yetzer Hara. We know these Gemaras, but let's just understand them. The Gemara says that the Anshe Knesset Hagdola is ridiculous. So they're invatal the Yetzer Shel Arayos. So invatal Yetzer Shel Arayos, so the chicken stopped laying eggs. So they had to tweak that one a little bit. That was like you need, but it's again, it's not so the chicken should have a challenge. Or the chicken should have bechira chavshis. The chickens don't need to have bechira chavshis, right? That just chicken needs to lay eggs. That's all the chicken needs to do is just give me eggs, and give me more chickens. That's what the it's gewaldic. Like you say, he's your buddy. He's your buddy system. Is my Yetzer Hara. So that which allows me to survive and forces me to survive, and it's almost natural that I will know. Even a child will know to run out of the way of danger. If they it doesn't mean that they're physically able to run out of the way of danger. That a 1-year-old. Crawling in the street maybe wants to run out of the way of danger but doesn't know to. Doesn't know how, doesn't have the kochos. But the Yetzer Hara is that it does need to survive. So says the Goin, this beautiful Goin, like Rabbi Yaakov says, like the Gemara says, that Hashem said, Toiv ma'oi, Toiv is Yetzer HaToiv. Toiv ma'oi, zu Yetzer Hara. Before Shechazal. Tov ma'od, zu Yetzer Hara. Ki Yetzer Hara, Toiv, fragt the Medrash, Bitmiya, Lula Yetzara, loy bana b'smet lashon of Chazal, loy bana bayis, loy nasa isha, loy hoylid, loy nasa v'nasan. I'm saying even more than that. He wouldn't even eat. You wouldn't even eat. Aval adam tzarich lavoid la Hashem yisbarach gam b'yetzer hara. So now we have a new Havana. What does it mean? B'chol levavcha, says the guy, to be Ovedus Hashem with your Yetzer Hara. So it's not that you're buying the raffle tickets for tzedakah. It's not that you're right, like I like to drink, so I make kiddush for everybody who needs to be Yetzer. That's not the pshat being Ovedus Hashem with by Yetzer Hara. We know it's that, but that's not what it means. What it means is that with your very life force, with your very need to survive, that koach within us, there's a koach within us that wants to live. So that can be used for avodas Hashem. That koach, ambition, perseverance, need to advance myself. Those are all Yetzer Hara things, but the good things, if you need to advance yourself and you're using that for the right purpose, which is the mizug of the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Tov. So elementary, but so important.
Was that Moshe on the mountain? Did he lose part of that? Didn't eat or drink.
Right. He had a Yetzer, he hit the rock, right? But, maybe at that time he didn't have a Yetzer. What he's saying here is that the fact that we're thirsty, comes when you have to drink, you get thirsty. That's Yetzer Hara. It's a good thing. Imagine a person loses their ability, their thirst. So who's going to drink? Pain in the neck. Even if you're thirsty, you don't drink. Like everybody says, drink eight glasses of water. Anybody do it? Everybody, everything you read, we drink 8 glasses of water a day. So it's the easiest thing in the world. It's free. Nobody does it. But if you imagine you weren't thirsty, at least we drink when we're thirsty. So when your body really needs water, but that's Yetzer Hara. You're hungry. That's Yetzer Hara. And on. The world is Miskayim. Zivug Isha. That's Yetzer Hara. There's nothing bad about it. It's parva unto itself. But probably the reason it's called Ra is that if it's given full attention, and that's the only thing you care about, without the tahara of the Yetzer HaTov coming in at bar mitzvah age, and you really got to usher that in carefully. Without that, so now my whole life becomes a beast. I all become about surviving, and I all become about eating and making money and doing all those Yetzer Hara things. So that's when it becomes Ra. It becomes Ra when you ignore the Toiv Shabbai. So it's the potential Ra, but it is life,
So is the Yetzer also the thing that's controlling unbridled chesed? Chesed's out of control. So
I think the Yetzer Hara is pointed inward, no? I think that Ava.
If it's from too much ahava, then it needs a discipline. So the discipline, that doesn't seem.
Let's say it like this. Let's say you would be born, and this is what I say everybody's miskasha. Let's say you were born with the Yetzer HaTov, and Yetzer Hara would come later. So that would be like the Seder is Sur Meirav Yaseh Tov. So in other words, like if I'm just born to do mitzvahs and to do for others so then I wouldn't make it to bar mitzvah probably. So it's not that has to be disciplined. So in the machinery, like HaKadosh Baruch Hu's makdim refuah lamaka, that now you have your Yetzer Hara. So now you can ease into the Yetzer HaTov and do it differently than Avraham Avinu did it with Yitzchak, where the boundaries came later. In the machine, it's built into the machine. It's innate to the machine to have this Yetzer Hara. It's like Aval Adam. So let's just finish these words of the Gra, and then Aval Adam Sarach Lavid La Hashem Yisparach Gam Yetzer Hara Dahainu Afilu Kisho Oicho Oy Shoyse Yinizer Gam Ken Lasis Hakol Hashem Shemayim Loy B'Shvil Tavasei. So what does it mean B'Chol Levavcha? That why do I could put I could put a why onto my survival. A child knows to survive and knows to eat and drink, but doesn't yet have the why. Why do I have to live? What am I for? So the Yetzer HaTov is telling me why
the purpose.
What my purpose is in all this survival. Otherwise, like you're an ape. So the Yetzer HaTov is giving meaning to my survival. Oh, this is why I'm hungry. This is why I'm thirsty. This is why I have a taivas nashim, because I need to be Makayim the world. All these things. The trick of the I always think like this. In fact, I tell this to my children all the time. I don't know if it's the right thing as I tell them. That without, if you're just Yetzer Hara, not Yetzer Tov, basically the same as the animals. I just listen, as much as the animals. I'm hungry, I eat. I don't care who it belongs to. I'm thirsty, I drink. I don't care what it is. I know not to drink poison. Even animals somehow know not to drink poison. It's an amazing thing, right? Cat goes to water, which is a churim, goes the other way. Doesn't drink it. People. This is Yeshayahu who already spoke about this here. Who there's certain instinctive things that for some reason even better than people. But if it's all about fulfilling those needs, so that's okay. That's the behemoth. Maybe that's the nefesh Bahamas that you're speaking about. That's the survival tactic, which is a big bracha. But if that's all it is, now I need a purpose for the whole thing. So it's not just a boundary. It's a why, a lama. What am I doing this for? Why am I here? That's the lashon hazayir. So meduyik la'ad kohatz, to purify yourself, to make yourself into a tzelem elikim, that's what you need the Yetzer. Now that I'm surviving, I need a lama, a why.
That's the called the Babcha.
That's the chol levav.
Apply this Yetzer Hara to the purpose.
Meaning, give purpose to the Yetzer Hara.
Yeah.
Right? Give purpose to the Yetzer Hara. Changes the whole thing. Ki b'chol davar yesh pula, so the Gra says, Ki b'chol davar yesh pu'ula v'tachlis. Everything has a pu'ula and a tachlis. That's exactly what we're saying. The pu'ula is, I need to eat. The tachlis is, I need to be a tzaddik. How am I going to be a tzaddik if I don't eat? I remember when I was a yeshiva bacher, it was always stuck in my mind. There was a tiny little cat in the street in Mattersdorf, and there was a father walking with his little son, and he says, the kid says, "Oh, he's a motek." So the father says, "Yeah, but what's that going to be when it grows up?" And the kid says, "A big Talmud Chacham." Total brainwashing. What's it going to be when he grows up? A big Talmud Chacham. Okay, all right.
David Melech said Hashem Ro'i, which is, that's the same root. It's the same two.
Reus.
Right.
Okay, so so that's enough. So but let's do a sikum. The sikum is that Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov are not these annoying voices within me, but the Yetzer Hara, Yetzer Tov are malachim. Ki malacha vitzav alach lishmarcha b'chol drachecha. They're malachim, which are HaKadosh Baruch Hu built into the system and the machine of the human machine in order to survive. And the derech is, you want to question it, you can question it, you can analyze it, but the derech is that the Yetzer Hara, ki ra leiv ha'adam, ki leiv ha'adam ra minu'ura, right? That a person starts off with Yetzer Hara, meaning first be a machine that works, that the machine works. And now, what are we going to use this thing for? So, what are we going to use this for? It's like in the tractor factory. They tested this, they tested it. The tractor has to work, but now, what am I going to use it for? So then it has to be used for toy. So there's a pu'ula, and then there's the tachlis, the mechanics of it, and then the purpose of it. Now I'm going to plow fields. I'm going to make beautiful flowers. I'm going to do stuff which is very, very important that people have food. So that's the Yetzer Tov comes into it. But those are the two malachim. And without a Yetzer Hara, the Goin tells us, the underlinable point, we would die without a Yetzer Hara. Without a Yetzer Tov, we become an animal. So we catch it at 13 years old, approximately. There's chinuch beforehand, but that's good habits. We catch it at 13 years old. So now you don't become only Yetzer Hara, because then you're a beast. And you're putting the Yetzer Tov in to give pula v'tachlis l'pulasai. Tachlis l'pulasai.
Shukach.